Pretty good. Adair will get started in just a little bit. Unmute my computer so everyone can hear us. So it has been a long time since we've been here together. I'm excited that we're finally back in person to see each other. And like things happen when it's all new. This is actually my first time standing in front of you as president. And the first thing I did was forget to tell someone or ask someone to pray for us. So I'm throwing Bryce under the bus here and asking him to please say the prayer, and then we'll do the pledge.
Father, we just come before you so grateful to get together, God. We thank you for this club, for what it means, God, and we just ask that you would give us ways that we can reach out into our community and serve those that are in need right now. God, I just pray protection over this room and over each person here. I pray that you would just keep us safe, keep us protected from this, from the COVID, and also keep our community safe from this, God. God, we love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
We don't have a flag, so we can kind of direct it to the front.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nancy, I know you have some visitors today. Would you like to introduce your visitors?
Yes, we have with us today Amy Reed, who's the Director of Development at CBC. And then we have Mr. Andy Goodman, who's the President of Arkansas Independent College.
Anything up there?
Okay.
Get your controls if you want.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Can I have a name?
So we have several announcements today. First of all, you'll notice on the table are some pins. Those are the pins this year, and our theme for the year is Rotary Opens Opportunities. This of Rotary Opens Opportunities is encouraging Rotarians around the world to see as many opportunities for growth and enrich their lives.
Somewhere you can go in there and do it. I don't know what.
So, like your pins, go ahead and don't forget to take one off the table.
See who the participants are?
The World Polio Day is October 24th.
know.
I've been doing a fact about polio each time we meet online. So today's fact is that in Pakistan, the polio program emphasizes hiring local female vaccinators and monitors. More than 21,000
None of you in this meeting.
83% who are women, which is incredible considering it's Pakistan, are achieving the highest immunization coverage rates in the
Turn it up.
and as we move all the polio news with Rotary, Pakistan's one of the
There's if you want to speak.
active cases of polio.
Okay.
Ben, would you like to announce the REEF fundraiser information?
Yes. This year, our REEF fundraiser is kicking off right now. I got the website up today. And so Courtney and I are going to be sending that out via email. And then hopefully later this afternoon, I will post it to our Facebook.
There you go.
And you can
There
just
you
click
are.
and buy it online. The price is $29. So it's a great way to help decorate for the holiday season coming up. They normally come in either right before Thanksgiving or right after. So we typically have them
There on the bottom.
December. And it's one of our big fundraisers. So please, 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 we'd like every member to buy one wreath at least, and that would help us achieve our goals. So that's coming up. Thank you.
Thank you. We have some volunteers that we need for the club. One is Jim Cass, on his own for years, has handled setting up the speakers at Hole in the Wall and running the AV system. He has always gotten meetings early and stayed late.
This on Zoom?
And unfortunately, right now, Jim is on chemotherapy.
Zoom's a little bit different.
It's too high of a risk. And so we need to fill his space. And I don't think anyone can fill those shoes, but if we could get 6 or 7 of us to volunteer on a rotating basis to come in early, set up the speakers, and then run the AV, the PowerPoint while the speaker's talking, that would be greatly helpful. Terry was so kind today not to require me to help him run a PowerPoint because I think that's something I could not have pulled off in this venue. But if you are interested, just once a month or once every 6 weeks in helping us get that done, please let me know. we're a civic organization. All of us are volunteers. I took vacation today to be able to come early and get all this set up. It's not something I can do every week. So you may find a lowering in the quality of our programs if we don't get it done. And a disaster relief contact. Anne Runyon was our disaster relief contact, and as you all know, she left about a year ago. Her job moved, and she transferred clubs, and we have not had that contact in our club since. Luckily, there weren't a lot of disasters, but when the hurricanes came through down south, Rotary put together an effort to raise funds and to send supplies. Our club didn't have a contact. So that's something that you're interested in, let me know. And be praying for Jim as he goes through his chemotherapy treatments. He would like to get back to the point he can join us back in person. So keep him in your thoughts and in your prayers. And those of you who have been able to join online so far know that I've been doing a Rotarian of the Week. So this week it's with Wendy Francis. She's been a member of Rotary since 2011, and she's been the treasurer for 9 years. Pretty much as soon as she joined, she got thrown into the role as treasurer, and she can't escape. So, if you know anyone who's a CPA and has a civic-minded heart, start talking to them about joining Rotary and coming in as treasurer because Wendy is worn out. She is virtual schooling her 2 boys that are, one is just in 5th grade, the other is in kindergarten. And so she's actually busy at home with the boys now. She couldn't find a sitter midday to join us in person. And she and her husband Michael have been married for 15 years. So I was able to talk with her, told her she's my Rotarian of the Week. And she said the things she misses most about the world before Corona are her trips to Target and being able to go to the movies as a family. So hopefully we will see Wendy again in person at some point. I know we miss her. Are there any other announcements anyone has that I've missed?
Yep.
Bryce.
So Reagan is opening a store. Some of you may have seen it on Facebook. It's called Oak and Ash, and they're doing a ribbon cutting and opening tomorrow at 10 a.m. So please come by and check it out. Super proud of her for what she's done. And I got one more announcement that she's looking at me, but I think it's okay that I tell that she's got my
Remember,
little nut.
you're being recorded right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That's okay.
it's okay. We are going to have a little one. So, yeah.
That was coming,
Yeah,
so I wanted
yeah.
to make sure Bryce knew.
It's okay.
Congratulations, guys. I'm really excited. So that's 2 Rotarian babies we have coming. Those who listened last week met Bobby and know that she and her husband are expecting. So we may have some Rotary baby showers coming up. I'm really excited. With that, yes, Jared.
At UCA next Friday, October 9th at 1:30, we are breaking ground on our new community center for finding community park. So that's going to be a really exciting event for us. A huge new building at UCA. That's going to take place on Bruce Street. Bruce Street will be closed down that block. So Bruce Street in front of north of Thompson Hall. Of course, wear your mask, social distancing, but that will be outside and just pray for good weather right now. Pretty good. 1:30 next Friday. Thank you.
I will say that it looks like we have more food than people that registered and showed up. So if you want to take a plate of food with you to go, it's just going to get trashed. So I don't have to go to containers, but there are plates. So please take the food to go, take it back to the police department, feed some officers, do something. We're paying for it. Don't want to go to waste. Bryce.
Is Wendy on there?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
she actually has a Zoom class for
Got it.
both of
Okay.
us right now. Ben.
Just while we're all here talking about next week for the hole in the wall. Is it first come, first serve? 25 people who sign up on the Sign Up Genius, or how's that going to work?
It's going to be first come, first serve. So, and we may be able to expand the hole in the wall. Once Tony saw the setup here, she thinks she may be able to do something similar, a hole in the wall that increases our numbers. So my fingers are crossed that we're going to be able to fit everyone in that's interested in attending. That's something we're working on between now and next week. You just count how many.
I was roughly 30 with 5,
Okay.
10, 15, 30.
So I feel
almost
pretty
30,
confident we can get 30 people in hole in the wall. We are going to have the sign-up sheet so we know how much food that we can expect to need and how many tables are set up. We don't want to put more than 4 people at a table, so that just helps us with our organization and planning. That sign-up sheet will be sent out Monday, just like it was this week. And if we get to booming numbers, we'll have to rearrange again. But right plan is for the rest of October to be an hole in the wall. Right now, we're planning the first of every month is here so that it can be everyone who wants to attend. But if it looks like we're never hitting more than the 30 mark, we'll discuss that throughout the meetings and just transition back up. If y'all have any questions about how this is working, if any of you have any suggestions, if you've dealt with stuff like this in your businesses and you're like, hey, we tried this and it was great, let me know. The board, we're just kind of making this up as we go and hoping for the best. So we're happy to listen to any advice. Anything else? Fancy, I'm going to turn it over to you to introduce our speaker.
Hello. I did want to introduce one more guest. We have one guest that's joining through Zoom, and that's Mr. Paul Cherry. He's CBC's Vice President for Finance. So y'all on Zoom are trying to figure out who Paul Cherry is. He's with CBC. And then I also, if someone wasn't here last week, I want to run through the programs for the rest of the month so you'll kind of know what's coming up. Next week, we will be meeting, of course, in person, but our speaker will be joining us through Zoom, and that's Dr. Ellis Arnold with Hendrix College. And then October the 15th, that's what you told me is confirmed.
Amy Prince.
Yes, Amy Prince with the Conway Public Schools Foundation. Then October 22nd will be Dr. Houston Davis with UCA. And then October 29th will be Dr. Maria Markham, who is the director of the Department of Higher Education for Arkansas. So she'll be giving us an update kind of what's going on with higher ed throughout the state of Arkansas. So today, to kick off our higher education month, we have President Terry Kimbrow with Central Baptist College, and he told me to be brief. So he is a Rotarian. He's a past president of the Rotary Club. He's also a past president of the Chamber of Commerce, has been a member of the Conway community for many years, and has been at CBC 27 years. So, Terry, please come today.
What she means is I'm old. Just said that. Because most of you here heard everything I have to say, except today. Because I want to say some things, hopefully, that are more historical, continuing the theme that Brad Lacey started last week. If you didn't hear that, you need to go back and watch it. Very good. Always glad to speak to fellow Rotarians, especially being the first day back. I miss seeing everybody. I don't go to Target either. I certainly don't go to Walmart. I've made a few trips to Academy and Dick's, Bass Pro, essential like that. When I get home this evening, just like I do every other day, within 5 minutes, I will have changed into shorts, t-shirt, kick back in my recliner, drink a Diet Pepsi. Now, I'd like to say I'll exercise for 30 minutes and drink 80 ounces of water, but that's not true. This is just what I do. And I used to have 2, maybe 5 events a week, as you know. So part of this has been good. Very small part. It's been good. Within the first 10 minutes, Trish will always ask me, my wife of 44 years, how was today? Or she may say, what did you do today? If she can sense something's not right, and she always can, she will say, what happened today? Very rarely can I answer any of those questions. And some of you can relate. Now, I don't want to talk about it. It's not a valid answer if you've been married very long. But I just can't put it into words sometimes, especially during the coronavirus days, because things are different. It's tough all around, isn't it? My great hope is, first of all, my faith in God and his sovereignty. He's always taking care of me. And the word says, we think we know how to take good care of our children, and we think we do. How much more will he, as the Heavenly Father, take care of us? I need that reminder, because I do go home some days a little frazzled. And then I look back on my life and just realize how tremendously I've been blessed. My generation, and that's, I don't know, I'm not in the greatest, I don't know what they're going to call us, but my generation, the baby boomers, and yours, really all of ours, we're pretty blessed. We're blessed to live in America, the United States of America. We are blessed to have things, and really we've been inconvenienced, but just looking back. And then I also remember what it was like at CBC. I've been there 27 years, but I also went there 5 years as a student, because I had a wife and 3 kids, and I was 30, so it took me a little bit longer. But we no longer have to ration chalk. And I remember that. When professors would get, if they were lucky, 1 piece of chalk, we don't have to shop the bargain bins to cook lunch. And then one time we did 5 ways to cook hot dogs. And this is while I was there. And we don't have to max out our line of credit to pay payroll that's 2 months late. So we're pretty blessed. But a lot of you don't know much about CBC. Now, I might refer to some of you who've been here a while, like Vance, and can't pick on too many people because I don't want to age them. But we were Central College for Women, founded in 1892. I say we because it has nothing to do with Central Baptist College. But a lot of people associate us with that group of Baptists that own Central College for Women. And the only original building on campus is Bruce Hall, the contractor for that building. We found out when we interviewed him, we had an interview with Gene Hatfield, and found out that his dad was the general contractor for that building. His sisters went to school there. But more, I think, interesting than that, or maybe revealing than that, is a little bit about George Washington Bruce. Now, I'm not a historian, but I think this comes with age, that you get a little bit more interested in history, unless you're a history buff, as you age. Tell my grandkids, look, learn all you can. I mean, they were forced to watch the debates. Now, not sure how historical that was, but it might go down in history, right? It's one of the most bizarre things that's ever happened. And they did watch the debates. And I tell them, you have to know history to know the present, obviously, so we won't make the same mistakes. Let me tell you a little bit about George Washington Bruce. I became interested because I didn't know the origin of Bruce Hall. That's one of our buildings that's in question. We just don't know what we're going to do with it. It's semi-inhabitable, if it tells you anything. We don't put students in it, we have coaches in it. Okay, that's where all the coaches are, fans, in Bruce Hall. But it was a residence hall for many years, a beautiful building. George Washington Bruce was an attorney. It's said that he prosecuted 35 murders. I don't know how long it took to have 35 murders in Conway back in the 1800s. He was the founder of the Conway Democrat, later merged with the Log Cabin Democrat. He moved to Faulkner County a day after the county was established. And then he settled in Conway Station, which, if you don't know where that is, that's the central part of Conway. That was Conway, the train station. He was instrumental with the others that Brad talked about in bringing Hendrix College to Conway.
Is it
And he
last
participated in the process for UCA, what was the Arkansas State Normal School. And he
Okay.
founded Central
What's-
College for Women.
I
Yeah,
Been
worry-
there
well,
20-something years
Oh,
before I
yeah.
even knew that.
Okay.
Just wondered, why do we have Bruce Hall and Bruce Street?
I'll be
He
back.
served in the House. He was a
Okay,
Conway
what's
Alderman. He was the mayor of Conway until he died. And then he was buried in Oak Grove Cemetery. Who does not know where Oak Grove Cemetery is? It's out behind the old airport. And that's the reason Bruce Street was named after Bruce, George Washington Bruce, and extends all the way now through UCA. We, being the group of churches that own Central Baptist College, purchased the building, 2 buildings and the property in 1951. We are the Baptist Missionary Association of America. Ben knows that because his ministry is a part of our association of churches. In Arkansas, there are 365 churches. So people that say, what's it like to not have a boss? I have 365 pastors as a boss. How would you like that? And then I have a 20-member board that's elected by those 365 pastors. This is what the committee looked at back in 1951 when they were looking for a place to establish a Christian college. Looked at Little Rock, they looked at other areas, they came to Conway. And I'm just quoting what they said. The city was situated in the geographic center of the state. Transportation networks were systematically linked to the city within all areas of the state. Well, at that time, that meant you could get on a chip seal road or a paved road to Little Rock. The committee considered Conway to be as good or if not above the average city in its moral fiber. Why? They said because they've abolished saloons, and that's why I said I'm quoting, and made other efforts for social improvement, and it appeared to be favorable from competing locations. So for 5 years, 5 decades, the city of colleges has been located here. We are the city of college. We paid $85,000 for Old Main, Bruce Hall, a couple buildings, and 11 acres. Pretty good price, except that we only had 5,000. So through the sale of bonds and some loans and raising some money from the churches, we purchased the property for $85,000. It started as Conway Baptist College. The name was changed 10 years later in 1962 to more reflect the geographical reach of the college because we had more Conway students. I came as a student, as I said, in '87. I was 30, had 3 kids, wife, and didn't know, Andy, that I should be making sure a college had regional accreditation. They didn't achieve regional accreditation. It was like a 30-year process until the year I graduated. So thank goodness I have a degree from a regional accredited college, but I didn't know that. A lot of students now don't even understand how important it is, because if you get ready to transfer, you need those credits from a regional accredited college. Many of you have heard me talk about Vision 2020. I have made, I don't know, Sancy, maybe 50 presentations about Vision 2020 in civic clubs over the last 10 years. And here we are, we turn around, we're it's 2020. And I have people, even before I thought of it, saying, what are we gonna do now? It's 2020, right? So we are in the process of doing some pretty deep studies about vision. Vision 2020 was a very aggressive program. 10 buildings in 10 years to accommodate 2,020 students. Well, we didn't make it to 2020. We got near 1,000, which started dropping off. We built 3 of the 10 major buildings at a cost of $21 million. We started with a $5 million campaign. We reached that, we upped it to 12, and we reached that, and we bumped it up to 21 billion. At the time of the master plan that included those 10 buildings in 2010, it was estimated that we could have built all those buildings for $21 million. There's an architect in the room. I'm sorry, but sometimes they miss it just a little bit. But of course, inflation was moving pretty quickly too, and we did build much bigger, much nicer buildings in defense of any architect. So I hope to be sharing. I knew I couldn't share right now any major announcements. I don't like to speak to groups unless I can say, this is what's going to happen. But just bring me back when it's time. Because, we're in the strategic planning process. And we have some people at CBC that are mentally ill because they love strategic planning. And I tell Rachel that. It's just like she absolutely is energized by strategic planning. What it does to me is it makes me sweat. It causes me to drink more coffee. And I endure those 2 to 3 hour meetings. And she absolutely loves it. So she's running the point on the strategic plan. In the past, I kind of tried to do that. And I heard that the best strategic plans are the ones where the president is not in the room. And all the UCA people are probably shaking. Because they see things we don't see. And not that it's not approved by the president, but hopefully, along with the broad-based input, there's just a multiplicity of needs. And probably all of you could do this. Ben, I know you could in a nonprofit ministry. I know people in business could do this. But I have a huge back burner list and a pretty mid burner list that's too big. And then there are things that absolutely have to be done for us to survive. In fact, I don't like to say survive. I like to say thrive. Because we are going to survive, but I want to thrive. And I want to do big things. And the list is pretty big. So we're kind of trying to compile that list into bite sizes and doable things. Because, if you have a $21 million campaign, you really don't want to come back with a $10 million, right? You're always expected to exceed, greatly exceed. So I think I probably have, I know this is on Zoom, but I'm looking at who's there. Probably have 5 more years in me. I'm not sure. I mean, that's up to God. You can say you got 5 minutes. But I want to see some things happen in the next 5 to 10 years. And those are the things that are on the front burner. So one of the things that we are very careful about, and that's involved in all of our planning, is that we filter everything through our mission. We have a mission that says that we integrate Christian faith and academic excellence. And in doing that, we expect to see transformed lives. I listened again to Simon Sinek's Golden Circle. I'm sure you've all heard that, but you know what? It's hard to absorb that, even though it's 18 minutes long. Where he says we usually go from the what to how to the why. But he challenges us to go from the why to the what to the how. It's not rocket science, as he says, but it's reverse from what most people think. So I think a lot about the why. And the why for me, after 27 years and 16 years as president, is to transform lives. I love to see students come in and go from where they are to where they need to be. And then to kind of push them out of the nest. Because we're still a little bit of a nest. We kind of take care of them. I've had car keys in my drawer, mid-drawer, because the parents said, look, I don't want to drive from Oklahoma. Would you keep these? Because she's bad about locking her keys. I'll be glad to do that. So we're a little bit of a bigger nest. But there's a time when they have to be kind of nudged. I love to see that transformation. So for all of us, that's our why. We are there to see those changed lives. And do we ever need them? In the time in which we do. It's 15 till. Save some time for questions. Richie Howell, you're front and center on there. You have a question? Yes, sir.
I don't have a question, but I just want to compliment CBC. And that's realized over the years. And a real positive influence on Sunday.
I appreciate that. I've been doing a history, not just way back, because we have the history written. But I'm doing a history from when I became president, just for me, not to publish. And just to see how God has used certain people in this community and in our church community. People like Amy, honestly, and Sancy, and Paul, and Gary, and Ryan, our leadership team. You know that. It's not me. It's a strong, strong team. I can take off a few days, and I don't know why I don't do that more often. Number one, they like it. Number two, things go fine. Hey, I just don't.
Jeff, a question for you. This has been such a crazy year. One of the forecasts we've been saying is our structure is going to change in the next couple of years and so on. Where are you guys seeing things change that you're going to be looking at?
Yeah, that's good. And I think that was in my notes, Cincy. Sorry. We've already changed, obviously. I don't know why I didn't buy stock in Dow, which is the largest producer of plexiglass. I'm serious. You should look at it. It's just skyrocketing. Zoom, I did, but not much. I mean, I could be very wealthy if I bought some stock in Zoom. We all knew it, and probably could do it today if I could afford one share. We have retrofitted everything. I mean, our facilities, which is supervised by Paul, work so hard. These things are permanent changes. Probably, I would imagine, things like barriers and plexiglass are permanent. I hope that the social distancing will get better, but if it's not, we are prepared. All of our larger classes have moved like to auditoriums, and our smaller ones were 6 feet apart. And Dr. Ligon back there, Dr. Pitchford, sorry, still call her Dr. Ligon. I mean, I can tell you that in our case, the faculty have been more than amazing. How they've adjusted. All of our classes are hybrid now, which means if they want to stay home, they can. We'd like for them to be in class, and many of them are. Our housing, we were astounded that our housing was only down 5 students. So they did come back, and we do have them in the classroom, but they can stay at home, kind of like public school students sometimes are told to, but they can. But we're ready to just continue on if we have to, and then if we have to go completely online, we could do it at the drop of a hat. Yes, ma'am. Please.
So the fact that we have to train how to use Zoom, so it wasn't like we didn't know what to do. Getting back to him to teach the space program, so we kind of was equipped with it in March and April, and now it was positioned, it was challenging.
students too, yes. I mean, I did not think they would comply. I mean, I didn't. I thought they would come back and say, this stuff, I mean, we're just not going to do it. It's really been amazing. Yes, yes, sir.
Let's say we don't have COVID.
Yes, let's do say that.
And which one you're planning strategic for the future? Do you target a certain number of on-campus students and then expanding your Zoom, whatever it is, technology, learning,
Distance.
to expand that as well? Because there's been a lot of really successful universities and colleges that have used that technology.
We want to expand that. We want students who want to be there. There's nothing like being in class, but we do, and we are expanding that. The great thing, Dr. Pitchford said, they were trained. I wasn't, but they were. I mean, they knew how to do Zoom. It wasn't a learning curve for them. They laughed at me because it was. I mean, it still is a little bit for me. And I can see for some of them, it's a little bit of a learning curve. You just want to watch what you say, where you are, and it's just crazy. And there'll be other technology, I'm sure. I mean, we're using the OWL technology some, and we're expanding it where the OWL sits in the middle room, sees everything, knows everything. It's pretty scary. Yes.
I just wanted to ask, like, John, if she could teach public school, how to make it easier? Sorry.
No.
My mother's complaint.
I mean, I'm a grandfather. I hear those mothers' complaints from my daughter. Believe me. Yes, sir.
What about freshman enrollment? Up, down, stayed the same, lose some?
Freshman enrollment traditional was up. Now, they say I'm never happy. I mean, that's kind of the way they say it. You're never happy no matter what happens. I was pretty happy because everyone in higher ed was thinking this could be the downfall of smaller institutions. This could devastate us. Now, in the adult and the online, we are down. But we were up enough. We budgeted to be down in traditional. We budgeted to be way down in housing. Well, not way down, but down. And Sansi supervises that too. But we're just very blessed. That we're 17% increase in freshmen. I think they just wanted to get away from it.
Do something.
And we want them to. Yes, sir, Chris.
Hey, I don't remember the last time I heard this, but a while back, y'all were doing that athletic, some type of athletic indoor facility out there at Conway and Robert. That's still.
That's part of the front burner items. That, I mean, I could say this, that we have no baseball field. We have recruited and maintained 70 JV and varsity baseball players for several years and gone to the national championship and won a championship with no field. Well, I told the coach, if you do well, we'll do something about that. He's cashing in on that. We need some, I mean, it's hard to find acreage in town that would accommodate and be zoned, but if you know of any, I mean, we need it like yesterday. And then the facility came in a little higher than we thought it should, so it's just kind of, we put it on hold. But our Mustang, the athletics, we have 16 sports in the NAIA they deserve. I mean, we've done the library, we've done the academic building, the residence hall, and they've been patient. But now they're saying, hey, what about us?
So how is the athletics going to affect the
We have 0 right now, today. Just, we can only talk about today. Active cases on campus. We have had 7, and then we've had a number of people in quarantine. But there is a difference. We do not test every athlete every week before every competition because our conference did not require that. UCA does because I don't know, I think the conference required it. I don't know, I'm on the Zoom with Houston every Tuesday, and they report, and sometimes he's happy and sometimes he's not. Because can you imagine testing every athlete for every contest, and then an asymptomatic athlete has to isolate, and then whoever's been around him or her has to quarantine? Thankfully, I'm not whether or not you agree with that. I made that decision. I do not want to test every athlete every week. I just don't. But then you don't really want to hear what I think about all the rest of the story. I'm ready to be free. Cut that. Anything else?
Do we have any questions online?
Oh, yeah, any questions online? Yeah, look at the governor now.
I don't have a question, just a quick comment. Over the years, as a Conway girl, I've watched CBC, University of Central Arkansas, Hendrix College, and thankfully we have absolutely the most outstanding group of educators and students. But I will tell you, blessedly in my last few years, I have watched a family that has now 2 students, twins, at CBC. And I'm hearing more and more and more about the activities that they do and the people they meet and the missions they're on and so forth. And I just wanted to say, Terry, you're doing an outstanding job and really appreciate you, not only as who you are as we know you, but in your professional life, because people are talking about you. So congratulations for the Lord just leading you.
Thank you. Ed was there, so you can imagine she said something nice. But she doesn't know how to say anything. Thank you, Adair, and I appreciate you. You're always a huge encouragement. Usually you encourage me because I've hired good people, but you actually said something good about me. Thank you. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you for being here and taking the risk. And just thank all of you on Zoom. I'll probably see you there soon. Well, next week.
Thank you for everyone for coming today, for being our guinea pigs to be here in person. Thank you, Terry, for being our first speaker and for not making me figure out how to use PowerPoint. Dan.
Great question. How many people did we have on Zoom?
That's a good question. Shelley, can you count them up? Well, on Zoom, and Freed is on Zoom. Freed, we're glad you could join us. It's been too long since we've all been able to see you, so we're glad you're feeling well enough to join us online today. Jim also was able to join us, and there's multiple, as Shelley read, 12 people joined us on Zoom, so good number of Rotarians attended today. With that, we will see everyone next week across the street at Hole in the Wall. Please take some food and dessert with you. And if you have any ideas or questions throughout the week, text me, email me, call me, whatever you need to do. And if you'll stand, we will adjourn with a 4-way test. Of all the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill to every nation? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.